What's going on, traders? Just want to do a quick recap here of the S&P 500 for everyone. Markets were pretty much flat today, ending in the positive, just barely 0.04%. Final print at 418.79. And we're looking at the daily chart here on the SPY. But before we get into it, just a quick reminder that this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. And let's get into the analysis here. Going to make it pretty quick, not too much to go into. As you can see, there hasn't been too much movement in the market. But we were talking about this potential bull flag, right, forming, which looks like it is starting to form here. So is this going to give us one more giant rally up? Very well may. We still have room here on the Momo, at least on the daily, but from the chart setup, sure, looks like we can very much have the potential of breaking higher. We could break a little bit, come back over and roll back over, or this is going to start to break and just roll over from here. Or we could just break and totally rip up another, to that 425 that we've been talking about. But those are kind of, some ways that we'll have to watch. Now look at this. Now we're going to look at this base, right, of these two low candles. What is this here? Now it is that 417.30 area, right? And we were talking about that in our last video as really kind of a make or break zone. And going into, let's find it here. We were looking at the fibs, right? And I was showing you before I had the swing high here. I have adjusted it now to the new swing high. And yesterday we were having really nice confluence actually at this 417 area, at this 23.6 extension. It has since moved up a little bit with the moving average, with the price action you can see here. Still a bit of a choppy day, pretty interesting. We had some fake news with an AI generated picture. We had a nice rally in the morning. I mean, it was very up and down. A little difficult to navigate, but it was a good day just to make the money and get out. Either way, for me, I'm watching, again, this base, right? This high is going to really be the marker here. So, again, I mentioned I don't really do support and resistances per se. I'm more of a supply and demand trader. And so we're going to look at something like, well, this would update. I'm going to look at something more like this, okay? To see here, now if this starts to give up, and then the 23.6 is going to be that 416.78, right? If that starts to go, okay, then the bears will start to see that selling come back into the market. Ultimately, we might come down and retest that 38.2, but we'll have to certainly pay attention to this 415, right? These highs in this area here, which is kind of equal to here as well. And if those give up, okay, then we can talk about getting closer down into this zone here. But it looks like the bulls might want to potentially come and make another run for this breakdown candle up by that 420.80 area. We had a lot of still talks with the debt ceiling going on. The 1 second they have a deal, the next second they're not making progress. So a lot of tape bombs and political theater going on, but it's causing a lot of whippy price action. You can see here, look at this candle, the wicks on both sides, and this one as well. Just a really kind of annoying day to trade. You can look at the day's price action. Overall, I mean, look at this rally up, then bam, this was with the fake news here, then a recoup, then we kind of consolidated, then we made one more run trying to come back up, and then we sold off. So tight range, at least it is established. If you are a range range break trader, you might be able to get away with having something like this. And actually, let me go to a different chart so it doesn't have the fibs here. Oh, okay, this is a different one. All right, that's fine. These are some other areas here I've just been watching on the spider, some zones here, but if you are someone that doesn't want to trade, and I would kind of recommend that, because these can be very tricky going up and down, especially with these tape bombs. I mean, look at that drop all the way down to the freaking lows of Friday, basically perfect double bottom, and boom, bought right back up. But holding in something like this, right, and saying, unless we are going to break out from either one of these sides, I'm not doing anything, right? That could be something that could be advantageous for a lot of traders, so you don't get messed up here, diddling in the middle, so to speak. Okay, if we start to break up and break over the 420, 60 area, then we can make a run, potentially higher up, and especially if we sweep over these highs, we can start to get to those upper price targets that we talked about in the other video, up in the 422, 423, and ultimately toward 425. But I would still be cautious. Personally, I don't even really like the breakout trade from the range personally, because, and of course we can extend this, but we've got hourly value here, which is going to cause some trouble. You can see already on the profile, look, we're already kind of eating out here. There's not much more to help propel the markets. So I would still even be cautious on that. But something now that I'm looking at this structure and the profile that's very interesting to me is this area right here, right? Now look at this. Big gap here in volume, and it would be interesting to see if we start to actually see some selling come into the market, that this is not this isn't worked out here, this gap in the auction. That would be very interesting to me, and let's watch out. So I'm going to throw a flyer out there and just say that we have a high probability chance of coming back into this 414, 413.50 area, high side 414.25. Okay, so that will be very interesting to see how that plays out, and if this imbalance in the profile needs to work itself out. Now, when it will happen, I don't know, but usually these things do need to work themselves out. So very interesting right there. Let's see if we can see it on the 4-hour. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a bit wider here on this one, so it might have a bit more range to play with, but it certainly is there. And one down here. But we'll watch that, so that'll be very interesting to see if price starts to gravitate towards that. Other than that, yeah, we've talked in the other videos about, the one yesterday about those upside targets, and still here we'll be watching to see if they can actually start to break and confirm. Whoops, I thought this was an early. Start to break and confirm under these, here we go, under this point of control, right? It has really been holding up the markets today. Every time it came into that area, I think that was around 42.05 or so on the futures market. Just kept bouncing and finding buyers up in here, a couple of fake breaks, but yeah, we're really gonna have to get below that and really sweep Friday's lows, right? We sweep Friday's lows, get under here, then we can start to see that downside selling. So we'll see what happens, but not much has changed, so I want to keep it short and sweet. All right, well, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go over. Let's see if they can break out of the range. All right, take care.